Omarion Hampton, Cleveland, North Carolina, one of the nation's top running backs. Top 200 player nationally, averaged 11 yards per carry last year, over 9 or 10 at the high school level is considered elite. I think he's got a chance to be a really good running back at the next level.
He's one of the sauciest running backs in the country. And when you go back to the sophomore season, he balled for over 2,400 yards and 35 TDs. Now, a dude in the NFL who reminds me of the Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott because of size and speed and his ability to rush in between the tackles. And he recently dropped his top 3. It looks like North Carolina is the heavy favorite, but he also included Florida and Penn State.
As four-star running back Omarion Hampton saw the recruiting landscape change a little bit in June, so he packed in a bunch of visits and is now set to announce his school of choice. The Clayton, North Carolina Cleveland star set to announce his pick just moments from now here on HQ. Hampton has visits to Florida, Auburn, and Penn State. He was slated to visit Ohio State, but called a quick audible. Instead, made an official visit to North Carolina. The number 12 running back in the industry-generated 24/7 sports composite has Penn State, Florida, and North Carolina as his finalists. In his past 3 seasons, he's rushed for over 3,400 yards. He's averaging over 9 yards per carry. In 5 games last season, he rushed for 685 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 11.8 yards per carry. And we're now happy to welcome in Omarion Hampton here to CBS Sports HQ. Welcome, Omarion. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Okay, so tell me about the recruiting trips. What was the criteria that you were focusing on?
Just getting to know the coaches, getting to know the place, everything really, and then just getting to know all about the school overall.
So you were slated to go to Ohio State, but instead you decided to go to North Carolina instead. Tell me about what made you decide to switch things up there.
Because they already had a running back commit, and then so there would be like really no point of me going there.
You heard the package that we played ahead of time, and one of our analysts compared you to Ezekiel Elliott. Is there a player that you compare yourself to or look up to?
I just be watching different people, really, just whoever, learning off of different people.
All right, thanks very much, Omarion. Sit tight. We'll be back for your commitment announcement shortly. And when you look at the top prospects from the composite index, Hampton comes in at 144 on that list. In 17 of his last 19 games, he has rushed for over 100 yards. And for more on the player, let's now welcome in 24/7 Sports national analyst Brian Doan. Brian, you know the stats. Your Twitter says recruiting is your reality TV. What do you like about Omarion Hampton?
Oh, geez, how much time do we have? For me, I start off with the fact that, look, I'm in the Northeast. I grew up watching the New York Giants play football, and it's just physical, run between the tackles, doesn't go down on first contact. I mean, that's what I grew up watching, and when I watch Omarion, that's what I see. He is a kid that he's got great patience at the line of scrimmage. He'll follow his blocks well, but he also has the vision. And then when he decides, hey, it's time to go, he can burst through that second level. And, when you watch him in high school, I just think of kids trying to tackle somebody that looks like him and is just so physical. And they just bounce off of him. And in some regards, it's kind of funny just to watch just how much trouble they had. And it's why, look, he got banged up his junior year, so he's limited to 5 games. But he was scoring a touchdown every 4.5 touches before he got injured. It's just ridiculous the production that he has. But, look, I look at him as a physical runner who can just be a battering ram. And as a defense trying to tackle him in the fourth quarter, good luck.
Yeah, 13 touchdowns in those 5 games that he had in that limited season. Great comparison about the New York Giants. He kind of looks like a guy that Bill Parcells would certainly love to have in his backfield. So when you talk about the offense that would be suited to his skill set, I mean, what kind of offense are you looking at there?
Well, I think, in this day and age, you have to be multiple, but I think he's a guy between the tackles. He can get out. He can catch the ball a little bit if he needs to. They split him out wide sometimes. But for me, it's more of just, hey, he's going to be a guy between the tackles. Maybe he'll get, off tackle a little bit. But I want a guy who's physical, who can grind some clock. And, I just look at the end of the day, teams that are winning national championships are still doing it with power football. You can go with all the flash and everything. It's schools that run between the tackles.
Okay, so you saw the official visits there. What does the crystal ball tell you about where he could be headed?
Yeah, the crystal ball says North Carolina, and I think once he decided to make the official visit there, he had visited unofficially earlier in the month. He lives close to campus. So once that happened, it was just a matter of, hey, let's see where it's heading. But I think it sped things up for him a little bit also.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Ohio State, but instead he decided to visit UNC, and crystal ball says that's where he could be headed. Brian, thanks very much. We'll check in with you after the announcement is made. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break here on HQ, but when we come back, it is time. 4-star running back Omarion Hampton is ready, his family is ready, and the school on his list is ready as well. He'll announce where he'll play his college football next, live on CBS Sports HQ. Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. We are moments away from finding out where 4-star running back Omarion Hampton plans to play college football. The number 12 running back in the industry-generated 24/7 Sports composite has Penn State, Florida, and North Carolina as his finalists. In his past 3 seasons, he's rushed for just over 3,400 yards and is averaging over 9 yards per carry. In 5 games last season, he rushed for 685 yards, 13 touchdowns. He was averaging over a first down per carry. 11.8 yards. He had visits to Florida and Auburn and Penn State in June. Slated to visit Ohio State, but called a quick audible and instead made an official visit to North Carolina. And with that, we once again say hello to Omarion Hampton, and Omarion and his family. Mom and dad are there, brothers there. Omarion, the floor is yours. Tell us where you're headed.
First off, I thank God, thank family, thank my coaches, thank everybody for supporting me throughout this process. And then with that being said, where I'd like to spend my next 3 or 4 years, UNC.
All right, congratulations, Omarion. Tell me, what was the deciding factor for you to go to the Tar Heels?
Just the family. Like, really, I can go up there anytime I want, and then they just show so much love down there, really. Ever since I've been a freshman.
I was going to say, Mom and Dad must be happy that you're going to be close to home. You can certainly make those quick trips back. What kind of discussions have you had with them about what kind of role that you could play on this team?
It's been a lot of discussion. I know me and Coach Porter, we get on like we real close, and we talk about how he could use me in their offense and everything like that.
Omarion, congratulations. All the best as you get set to take your talents to the Tar Heels for your college football career. Thanks for joining us and making the announcement here on CBS Sports HQ. All right, so here's the recruiting overview for UNC as they add the 4-star running back Omarion Hampton, the national rank of 22. They don't have any 5-stars, but Omarion makes it 6 4-star recruits for them. They have 5 3-stars. Mack Brown entering his 3rd season with the team. He's 15-10 in 2 seasons as they jump up a couple spots with Hampton's commitments, 11 spots as it turns out, as the 4-star gets set to bring his talents to UNC. All right, let's now welcome back Brian Doan from 24/7 Sports. Brian, I mean, the crystal ball hasn't let us down yet. Your thoughts on the choice here?
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning with him, North Carolina was always going to be a high choice just because of his location. You know, depending on how fast you want to drive, 45 minutes to an hour from campus. And that stuff always comes into play in recruiting. But from the North Carolina perspective, this is huge. He's the top, in the composite, he's the top-rated commit now. In order to build a program where, look, you want to go compete against Clemson, right? That's the best in your conference. And so you have to take care of your backyard. And while it seems like, hey, you know, pretty easy to get it done, it wasn't. There were a lot of really good programs involved in the mix. And for North Carolina to be able to keep him home and fight off, you know, whether it was Florida, who's got a lot of momentum, Penn State, who's got one of the top classes in the country, it just tells you what kind of job they did in recruiting Hampton. And I think, you know, he mentioned being close to home where it's really easy for family to come see him play. And you can see just, you know, from talking to him, from watching today, he's very close, obviously, with his parents. And hey, there's nothing wrong with maybe after a Thursday practice heading home and getting like a home cooked meal or something, or have some laundry done. But it's a huge pickup for Carolina because, like I mentioned earlier, he's such a physical runner. He's dominant in high school, which is what you want out of a running back. When you're averaging more than 10 yards a carry, I mean, my goodness, you move the chains a lot with that stuff. And I really believe in my heart that he's a kid that will get better as games progress in college and get deeper into games. He's going to be hard to tackle. And one of the things when you really watch him on tape, that's really cool to see, he can pick up the blitz. And that's usually a big thing for kids coming from high school into college. They're not asked to do that much in high school, and Hampton can do it, and he's physical, and he's willing to do it from that standpoint. So I think it's an awesome pickup for North Carolina. It's a guy they have to get also because of the location, but he makes them better.
So they go from 33 to 22 in terms of their recruiting rankings in the class. And when you look at this class overall, Mack Brown going into his third season, they're 15-10. They've been to 2 bowl games in his first 2 seasons there. They haven't had a double-digit winning season since 2015, but last year they got to 8. How excited should Tar Heels fans be about what Mack is building there for them?
Yeah, they should be really excited because, A, he's got a track record not only doing it there, doing it at Texas. He's brought in just some unbelievable talent. And you look at, like, you have a quarterback like Sam Howell, who he's got a lot more experience now. And for me, people want immediate results. And when you're talking about college football, it takes time to turn over a roster and to bring in talent. And he's done that in just a few years. And so, yeah, the expectations rise. And look, you're always an injury away from, being an 8-win team when you should be a 10-win team. You never know what's going to happen from that standpoint. But when you look at it going into the season, I think there's a lot of optimism and reason to believe that, hey, they could contend to play in the ACC championship game. And I think that's the first step. But to me, if I'm Carolina and after, Larry Fedora did not have the best time recruiting and seeing what Mack Brown's doing, he has upgraded the talent markedly in the program, and he's done it in just a few years. So, and I anticipate this continuing to move forward in this manner also.
So in terms of Hampton, how soon do you see him contributing to this team once he is there on the field?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a kid that'll be ready to play his first game as long as he picks up the offense, understands the blitzes, depends how much they want to give him and exactly what their running back room will look like after a season and whether people leave or not. But from a physical standpoint, he's ready. Like, I was with him in Charlotte at the end of May and sitting there, and he's the kind of kid that you just know if you bumped into, like walking to him in the mall, he'd hurt your shoulder because he's just so thick and strong. I expect him to go in and play right away because the running back position is a feel thing. And it's not, you don't want to go in and give a kid 20 carries right off the bat. But look, if he's not playing in the first month of the season as a freshman, that means North Carolina is really stacked at the running back position.
6 feet, 215 pounds, 213 of that is muscle, according to our Brian Doan. Brian, good stuff. 24/7 sports recruiting analyst joining us here to discuss Omarion Hampton's commitment to UNC here on HQ. As we mentioned earlier, Brian's Twitter profile says recruiting is his reality TV. He's all over it, as is everyone else over 24/7 Sports. For all the latest, be sure to check out 247sports.com.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.